Today I want to share with you the advantage of leveraging where to put the why in GeoPI. So what is GeoPI? We see it as the incorporation of the science of where with the broad range of methods used to inform the public and allow them to be more influential in our decision making. Now, for the particular tool or solution that we incorporate leveraging GeoPI, we refer to it as PIMA, the Public Involvement Management Application. PIMA was developed in a coordinated and partnered effort between HNTB and Iowa DOT. Many other states have also joined the PIMA consortium to further advance the modernization of public involvement. Whenever we're engaging with the public using PIMA, we like to use a variety of integrated tools. We use comment forms, which often have an interactive map directly consuming information from ArcGIS Online. We also like to use Survey 123 for some of those more unique aspects of interacting with the public, especially when we want to know things like live, work, play questions. We also like to inject interactive maps anywhere we can to generate interest and generate more active participation from the public. Story maps are a tremendous way to get the message out to the public, and we like to often use those as virtual online meetings. And then lastly, for our project team, we find that analytical dashboards using geography as an additional metric of public engagement is extremely helpful. Understanding what people are saying, their preferences, their favorability, topics that are important to them. But when you couple that with the aspect of geography, understanding where people are saying, it adds that additional layer of weight to interactivity and understanding a deeper level of participation. So what does this look like so far? PIMA in particular as a solution and its heavy integration with ArcGIS Online has seen many active deployments, again, across the agencies we talked about earlier. But you can see we also, because we're collecting geography, we can also track how many interactions we've had on our different deployments. Over 54,000 stakeholders across the country are participating in projects that are utilizing this solution, using geography to measure public outreach. But how many of those stakeholders are actually interacting with things like comments or attending meetings? We can see about 10% of the individuals are commenting, notated in orange on the map. And then in a lighter blue color, you can see stakeholders are attending meetings, again, either virtual or in-person meetings. And that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 25%, which is a really great metric of all the individuals that are active on your projects and are a part of subscription to your projects. I have 4 examples to share with you today about the value of GeoPI. The first one coming from Iowa DOT and their Interstate 80 Pell project. On this 300-mile long corridor where community engagement was very important as part of that Pell process, well, in this case, they used GeoPI to solicit more rural engagement, because what they initially found was most of the urban communities were participating, but they weren't hearing as much from rural. So they changed their approach to instead solicit more engagement from rural communities. This helped them more clearly delineate in a geographic setting that they were effectively communicating with as many stakeholders as possible across the entire corridor. In the city of Lansing, there's a historic bridge over the Mississippi River. Unfortunately, the bridge could not undergo only repairs any longer. It needed to be replaced. However, the Iowa DOT found that the first public meeting was wrought with negativity, primarily because no one wanted to see the bridge replaced. They used ownership information from the county assessor's office to really understand how they could target the local community for both small group and one-on-one meetings. Now, by the second meeting, there was overwhelming support for bridge replacement. The Iowa DOT wasn't even yet ready to ask for stakeholders' preferences on alternatives, but the community at large had made it past the fact that the bridge was going to be replaced, and they were ready to select their favorite replacement alternative. By that next meeting, the overwhelming support they saw gave them the assurance that the project was going to be successful in partnership with their local and regional audience. Our third example is in the Northeast with Massachusetts DOT. This is from their South Boston Bypass Road Express Lane pilot. Now, originally, this project had planned for a much larger and longer improvement area. There was a particular area on the northern end of the project where the audience was overwhelmingly expressing traffic and safety concerns, especially because of what the local residents realized were issues related to their daily commute. So, using this information, MassDOT essentially reduced the pilot project area based on that expressed concern, leading to ultimately more positive feedback and support from the local audience in Boston. The final example is also from MassDOT for their Central Rail Trail feasibility study. And it was going to have impacts that really meant statewide participation was a crucial aspect of moving the project forward. They created a story map to educate the public primarily, to share why the project was needed and where the project was proposing to make improvements to the rail trail network. So over about a 3-month campaign, they noticed that there was overwhelming participation occurring. Most of that participation seemed to appear with comments along that rail and trail corridor that was shared in the story map. So the concern was how much of the state was actually participating. Again, even though this was regional, they really wanted to get statewide participation as a result. What they discovered through some background geocoding processes is much of the state was actually participating, even though it was more localized in the sharing of their feedback to those rail and trail corridors. This confirmed the efforts of both increasing the awareness using story maps was effective, but it also meant to the project team that they could proceed forward with other means of communication, promoting interactive mapping, using things like social media and their future marketing campaigns. GeoPI has become a critical additional metric and weight towards how we evaluate the effectiveness of our outreach and how we are going to change our future strategies in the direction that we alter our projects. We find it to be one of the most invaluable aspects of the information we collect as part of our public engagement programs and approaches, and we continue to find ways to leverage it even further, especially on top of the ArcGIS Online platform. Thank you.